On my way to work with a car.
Happy Monday.
Thank you.
Bliss drives.
What's the future like?
Panda, what's good?
The future, because you joined the best life on the half side of the universe. So
Hey, Charlie Chaplin, do you happen to know Khan? Do you happen to have Khan as a friend?
Con, as in CON or KON?
Yeah. CON.
Do you mind if I go check real quick? I mean, Con, that's
Yeah.
the full name. Con.
That
Yeah.
Icelandic guy?
Rez just introduced me. I actually caught on to you from Aleth. I don't know how to pronounce that chat, but you were on with an eye patch just talking about like absolute wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's where I just like came on. I was like, "Oh, this guy's live. I want to catch up with him." And because I heard you
Looks like I'm wearing a thong on my head.
right, and everybody's just like, was it a thong?
No. Yeah, that's awesome.
But like
Yeah,
there was
it's a
there was
sweet
just a
mask.
guy who just like just witnessing and observing like how the members in that live. I don't know how well you recall it, but they were just like so focused on why are you looking like that, bro? Like we can't even take you seriously, and you're just like, this is what I'm telling you. Like just because you see this, like like you were speaking absolute wisdom, and that's like actually kind of what gave me
Thank you. Yeah.
like the motivation to like
big up to you
jump
for
up.
recognizing wisdom where it happens.
Hey,
Hey,
yeah.
Ron, what's good? Thank you for the heart me, man.
All I have to recognize is realness, man. That's all I had to say. And I was just like, this guy's being real. Like I don't know why everybody's fucking dogging this guy.
Oh, dude,
But-
it happens all the time. It might be the tism.
No,
just
I
see
mean,
truth
I
amongst
I
the
personally, as a quantum pseudo theorist, like I really
Sick.
I
appreciated
love the quantum
your-
pseudo theory.
like I appreciated your
Dabble
experiment.
in
Just like,
quantum?
I do dabble a bit.
Yeah, but what a
Well-
cool way of describing it. You don't have to claim to be an expert, but you can just dabble.
Right.
Mark
I mean,
my words, block them from all your lives.
Who?
Who's that?
Well,
but I
why does
feel you.
Mark my
I
words
got the
love it?
same when
I'm not
met
perfect.
Rez. Like
It's
he is
not an
like
excuse,
super
it's a warning.
knowledgeable.
Who is Mark?
Mark
Tim,
my
do you
words,
know?
144.
Do you know him? Mark my
Block
words.
me from all your lives. Sorry, mark my words. I don't block people, and I don't take direction well. In fact, I usually do the opposite. That's yeah.
when it comes to energy, you're like the equal and opposite force.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm the immovable object and the unstoppable force. I might be a psychopath.
But I mean, the likelihood of two psychopaths being here.
Look,
unlike-
I'm not.
Dude, that is
I've
my
also
favorite
been
hitchhiking joke
I know.
ever.
I prefer
Yeah.
it in trains.
two
overnight
psychopaths.
trains.
What's the joke?
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
The joke?
Aren't you scared while hitchhiking? Like that, like you might get like
Through
picked
the
up by a
galaxy,
psychopath.
Hitchhiker's Guide
Yeah.
to the Galaxy. Essentially.
Oh, dude, that is
The
a
answer's
lovely
42,
movie.
darling.
Yeah,
But then they just got
Yeah.
the question wrong.
the odds of two of us being in the same
Right.
vehicle at the same time highly unlikely.
What about three of us, dude?
And then,
Yeah, exactly.
and then the uncomfortable
Yeah.
stare.
And Rez, just to answer your
most
question, I did not
psychopaths
have.
don't harm people. Yeah.
And then I gonna be the flower
See, it
type. I
seems
gonna
like a
be the
strong
narcissist.
No, I mean I would. It's like saying all Christians or all Catholics are Christians, but not all Christians are Catholics, right?
Oh, I think Jess
No.
has one for this.
Yeah, it's not all Shriners are not all Masons are Shriners, but all Shriners are Masons.
Ooh, wait, Shriners are the little guys who ride around in the little cars with the hats and stuff like that.
They definitely have the fez hats, but they participate in a lot of hospitals, and obviously a way of being able to funnel money through organizations that you never know about, because that's called true organization.
And is that like strictly from like Judaism, like the Judaism faith,
Mando.
No.
or is that like a branch
No,
in
I think-
between
Was that the game
Christianity?
or
Like
somebody?
Yeah, I think it's an offshoot of the Illuminati, no?
the
Well, if
enlightened
you
ones?
look at the TikTok here, you can see up here will be quite a few universes in a row. People will
What's
be
tonight's
sending
goal?
universes after universes after universes in a row because they're literally sending unmarked currency from one country to another, and then
What?
they're just
Wait,
paying
what are you talking
China
about? The
in
TikTok
in the
up
phantom
here?
tax.
Are you saying 36
Yeah, like
in a
right at
row?
the top of the screen, you'll see TikTok universe after TikTok universe after TikTok universe being sent from the same person to the same person.
Oh, are
They're
you?
like wandering.
I don't know what
galaxies.
you're pointing at when you're like pointing like up here. Like, are you
The
pointing
top
at
of the
like?
screen.
No, up,
Like above his head.
like right here.
That'd be a really good.
Like we explore and
Launch some
imagine
money.
this cap.
Yeah, like there's whenever anybody sends a TikTok universe, it's a banner.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's like essentially like coming in from nowhere. I'm like looking at this and I'm just like, okay, I guess this is a quick introduction of what the conversation is. Versus that other host who posted like Jesus is a sinner or Jesus, like it's just like the backgrounds
we're
or the.
just doing story time in
It's
a
like
way
you're
that's like
yeah.
yes anding, like we're improv class, right? And we're just yes anding.
Beautiful.
Kind of
I
thing.
used to be a comedy teacher, a stand-up comedy writing teacher. So.
Sick.
No way. I do stand up comedy.
Yeah, I did it for like 10 years and then I retired. But yeah, I mean,
Well, if you wouldn't mind being my
Working in
stand-up
your
comedy coach, I would love
Oh,
to sit
yay.
and listen to you on theory and arcs and callbacks and all
Sure.
this
Hi,
kind
Bucks.
of tricks
Absolutely.
of the trade.
what do you want to do? I
Yeah.
mean, how long have you been
Well,
doing it?
basically, I've written this comedy where I quite literally, my comedy self quite literally invites God to ingest regulated substances. I mean, for tea,
Are you giving me a bit? Are you giving just introduce me to what you're talking? How long have you
And
been
then
doing
this
comedy for?
president of the
Can I just
universe
ask you that?
character interrupts and says, "Hey, I'm
Is
here
that
from
me?
the future. I just had to come back. It could be you." And like they had their ethnicity and their gender like shrouded, so I didn't know who they were. But they said that they were me from the future, and that they came back to speak with me because my connection with God is so strong. And I'm like, hold on a second. Why aren't you speaking with God? They're right here. They're like, no, Tim, you don't get it. The technology I have access to and the decisions I'm making on the daily basis have me feeling like I'm God. And I can't get a fucking pat on the back from you. You keep
I
giving
will-
it back to this Jesus dude and it's pissing me off.
I will
Why?
give you a pat on the back because I agree that you are God in the sense that in that conversation, you were a man who was abiding in love. Like, you even asked, like, is God free? And, like the guy who came on who's
Oh,
like,
yeah, you felt
God
that.
is free because Jesus Christ is free. I'm like, you're not listening to what he's saying, bro. And that's the glitch in this digital matrix. Somebody else was talking about, are we living in a matrix? I'm like typing in the captions, like, we're in a digital matrix. TikTok isn't, like, what are you asking,
Yeah,
bro?
we're talking through the matrix. Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's just like these people who are so blind in not just one eye, but just like their hearts. They explained it. They said blind hearts, and that's when I popped in. I was like, that's the worst thing ever.
I have one ear plugged so that what you're saying isn't going in one ear and out the other.
Well, I have both ears covered, so it all stays in here.
I love it.
Yeah, but if people are
Yeah,
closed,
just be sure not to
if
have an
people are
echo
closed
chamber again.
off, it's
Is
like
it? Am I
out of-
echoing?
No, you're good. You're
Okay,
good.
okay.
I just mean like the metaphorical echo chamber.
Out of 8
thank
billion people
you.
on the planet, there's obviously a plethora of outcomes, right?
Of course,
So
the
it's what you pay
multi-universe
attention
theory.
to. No, but it's about what you pay attention to. And so if you surround yourself with shit terrible things and shit terrible people, that's what your day-to-day experience is. And you continuously create it because you drag your past into your future.
Right,
But
it's
I
a
like to think
whole
of it as
mixture.
good life choices. Yeah, just switch it up.
Good.
But anyway,
Have
I
you ever
do
heard
have
of
to ask-
GIGO? Have you ever heard of
What's
GIGO?
that?
It's
Not
an
in that
acronym
context.
for.
I love acronyms.
It's a acronym for. It depends on if you're a business person or if you're like not a business person. Because GIGO as a comedian was preached to me by Comedy Works, like the comedy club that does like all the boot camps and stuff, or where I'm from, Colorado. And so
Okay.
their motto was just GIGO, good in, good out. Like so, put good into
Kinda
the
like
world.
FIFO,
Computers.
first in,
yeah,
FIFO.
yeah,
Right,
garbage in, garbage out.
If you
for
worked in,
computers.
right, and business is garbage in, garbage out. So,
So
it's like
I have-
automatically. Thank you. FIFO.
I-
FIFO is another
chocolate-
one for
I
Sorry.
have not fear of missing out. I have fear of opting in. And for me,
FMLAO. Wait. FM.
I-
Fear of missing out. This is where the
Fear
acronyms
of
I
op-
gotta like. FOML? Fear,
Yeah, but
FOMO, FOMO, FOMO.
Yeah, but
FOMO.
I'm okay.
Con,
of,
welcome. Yeah, I was looking
fear
for
of
you, Con.
fear of opting out. But I would say it's about GLCs and PLCs, so good life choices and poor life choices. And you try to make more GLCs than PLCs.
Beautiful. I even take
That's
it.
good.
I would like take that to the abortion argument where I'm like, I'm pro life choices. If that clarifies anything, you know,
Yeah,
like
and people can choose to be assholes. It doesn't mean that they have to have it in medical decisions, right?
right. I mean, just especially even like people who are expressing, and it's
It's not about
always
colonoscopies.
Christians. It's Christians who are just like, I'm just saying that abortion is murder because I'm just standing up for righteousness. I'm just like, are you?
You know where
You know,
I reach,
like,
Chaplain? In my life, I've gotten to the point where you don't have to understand gravity for it to affect me. So I don't
Have
really
you
care
ever
about their
seen a bowling ball and
understanding.
a feather fall at the same speed? It is beautiful.
But did you guys know that Einstein explained gravity as love, as God, because it's what attracts us to one another or repels us from one another?
He
know, like-
knew. He fucking
Oh,
knew.
we're just like batteries not included, little magnets
Well, see,
flying
like-
around the world.
I mean,
Let me
Sean,
ask you
no,
guys
if-
this. Let me ask you guys
I
this.
may.
Can I do like a little open mic here? Like,
Go ahead.
I
Go
got
ahead.
some energy. Time me at
Stay
like
ahead.
3
Stay
minutes.
ahead.
Give
Yeah,
me the
yeah.
light. Give me the light, Tim, if you want me to get off
You got
stage
it.
or something.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right. So like I've been like outside of doing comedy, I've jumped into like quantum physics, and one of the biggest things was like,
I love thinking about theoretical.
don't
physics
heckle
all
me
the
during my time, man.
time. You got it. You got it. There.
You got to shut up the heckler immediately, but you can do it in a nice way. So that's a lesson.
Yes.
Okay. No. But like,
This is a lesson.
you know, like it all started with like this revelation where I just like asked myself in like the universe, like in a deep prayer, just like, why can I not prove like God exists just for myself? Because it was like when an enlightening moment, like going into college, just like, man, I'm surrounded by Jews. You know, like I've never been around this many Jews in my entire life. Like, just it was a new experience. So like I'm like questioning these things, and I've always guided myself through prayer because my mother told me like God is always watching, you know, and he knows what we're doing. If you have something on your mind, just like ask him and he'll help you. You know, like that's what I've always been brought with in my life. So that's one of the things as a 43-year-old man now, I'm like so grateful for that my parents like indoctrinated me, if I'm going to use the proper like terminology or language in today's rhetoric terms. But, you know, like literally I made that prayer, like I need like scientific proof, like a scientific method for that. And I opened my eyes and I turned on my TV, and the movie, I forgot what it was called. Heaven is Real. Heaven is Real came on. Never seen or heard of this movie. And just, it was this scene where like the preacher goes up and he's just like, God is love. And I was just like, that does not say that in the Bible. And I like Googled it, and it was like, yeah, 1 John chapter 4, like all that. I was like, are you kidding me? And like that just answered my question immediately. If God is love, and it says right here that anybody who knows love knows God, anybody who abides in God abides in love, and anybody who knows love knows God. And anybody who does not know God or does not abide in love does not know God, because God is love. I was like, simple. So now it's like, how do I put that into practice? You know, like, so it's like I have to embody love. And that was one of the things that a lot of my fellow colleagues doing stand-up like told me, like, dude, like, you're just like real. Like Eddie Brill told me, like, you're somebody who just like wears his heart on his sleeve. And I was just like, I don't even know what that means, sir. I just paid you like $200 for like some coaching advice, and that's what you're gonna tell me, you know? Like, but it was like I looked it up, and it was just like I just wear my heart, and so I just speak what's in my heart. And so like doing stand-up comedy for 10 years, I found out like there is a demon, I guess if you would call it, or I would call it, that wants you or pushes you to like silence who you truly are and try to become who they want you to be if you want to achieve that route of like success, you know? So I've seen like my generation of comics that grew up now who have kind of sold out. I don't know if you guys know John Christ, but he's like a very big TikTok comedy here. I grew up with that kid. That kid came up to me like trying to like follow me around shows. And like one of my biggest regrets is just I kind of at the moment, this is when my ego just got really inflated. It was the first time I felt like the popular kid, you know, like, and I really milked that. And so like these are the times that I would consider calling it my backslide, my dark times, you know, like to people who believe in like the book and scripture. You know, I'm just here to try to connect science and religion. because that's got to be the only way to peace. And I realized that Einstein did that with just saying E equals MC squared. Because what does everybody tell you that you've been growing up with, like, say that means? You know, like E equals MC squared. What does that mean? Oh, it was from this brilliant scientist named Albert Einstein who had a deep thought experiment imagining what it would be like to travel on a beam of light. And you're sitting here like after a DARE class, just like, is this guy on drugs? You know, like, you know, so it's just like this guy is just this brilliant thing, you know, like growing up, I'm like, why is this man so revered for E equals MC squared? And I really broke that down, you know, and like if I could ask the crowd who's listening here, this is where I would like to open it up for interaction. Like, when you guys think of E equals MC squared, like, what do you think? Explain it to me. What does that mean to you?
Jess?
Tim? Jess? Con?
E equals MC squared to me is that within us is so much power that it's ridiculous to imagine. How
Energy?
much
Would you
power
say
is in
energy?
an individual, yeah.
Energy, okay.
Yeah,
Instead of power,
if
energy.
we
Okay.
Yeah, that if we sacrificed any bit of our matter, that we are powerful beyond all measure. That it's like that whole Nelson Mandela speech written by Marianne Williamson, where it says it's not
The
our
politician?
darkness
The
that
politician?
scares us. Yeah, that it's our light. You know, it's
It's
our greatness that scares us, not our darkness.
Right, okay.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was just about, energy and relativity. I thought that was just about general relativity.
But in what way? But in what way? I mean, yeah, it's general relativity.
Well, it's physics.
It's energy. But then you also know that it's mass, right? You got to know, like, I don't know who said that.
Yeah, this is the
Con.
thing. Like, off the top of my... It's 5:30 in the morning where I am, so, like, I can't fucking remember what it actually means. I'm not a physicist. But, like, as far as I'm aware,
Con,
it was just
Con,
to think
can I
about
click you?
relative
Can I-
motions, right?
Tim, is this the con that you were asking about?
This is.
Okay.
I'm
I
so
am-
happy that he's doing it.
He's very articulate.
Okay, Con, I am not your friend, but I just followed you. Sorry,
That's fine.
you've come in with a high reputation, so please speak. Can you say that one
That's
more
cool.
time?
That's neat. No,
I'm
for
Charles.
me- this is
I'm
the
Charles,
thing
by
for
the
me,
way.
like- Nice to meet you, Charles.
Tim.
I don't really understand EM. This thing, I understand what it means, kind of. I understand what general relativity is. Like, depending on your location to an object of mass, your experience of acceleration is going to be different, I suppose. Like, a clock that's in orbit is going to tick differently to a clock that is on the planet's surface.
Slower.
But, like, it illustrates that time is relative, basically.
Oh god. Sorry, my phone's like. Okay, keep going.
No need to
Time
be
is
sorry, I
relative.
can't even
Time
think
is
of anybody
relative.
who's not innocent.
Time
Yeah,
is.
that's-
You're
That's all
right.
it means to me.
Essentially, time is. But what does that mean? Time is relative. Like.
Well, I think Albert Einstein puts it as, talking to a beautiful woman, time goes significantly faster than if you're listening to a lecturer.
Slower. You mean going slower, right? Time goes and make.
No,
But okay. Oh no, you're right. You're right.
Maybe.
That's
one
beautiful.
way or the other. One way or the other.
Can you say that one more time? Albert Einstein said time is like being with a beautiful woman. It goes faster, but then being in a lecture. Is that how you said it? Please repeat that.
I think.
I gotta write
so.
that
I
one
think
down.
it goes something like. I think
That
it
was
goes something
beautiful.
like that. I think
But
he
it's time-
says.
I've
Well, no, this is what he said, not me. It's like I think it's something like talking to a beautiful woman takes up like it goes really quickly, whereas being in a lecture hall, it feels like time's moving at a snail's pace, and like that's how he jokingly explains relativity.
Right,
So
but
it
it's
would be
so
your perception of time, right?
right. But then there's that
perception of time,
romantic
yeah.
view of time falling in love is like time stops.
So,
right.
Charles.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Charlie,
totally.
what do you
Yes.
think about this as a concept? Is that if you, in your flesh puppy, are incarnated to provide the concept of time to trick yourself into having to learn things for the first time as an all-knowing, all-being human existing in parallel timelines existing simultaneously?
Are you reading like a pre-written question? Like,
Yeah, but that's my.
No, that's literally my belief system.
Can you just
But then we come
say that
to
again?
back to the house.
Excuse me, hold on, Dutch Buddha. Can you? I really take personal questions from the audience very seriously, so I'll give you your time, Dutch. But Jess, could you please ask me that slower so I can just kind of absorb all the
Would
words?
you consider the possibility in the concept of the perception of time and our ability to apply meaning and experience of that time is based off of us being an infinite being in a flesh puppy existing in infinite levels of timelines that coexist simultaneously.
Now, by fresh puppy, you're not talking like a literal fresh puppy, right?
Flesh puppy. So
Oh,
you
flesh
are
puppy.
you are a being incarnated into a flesh puppy living a human experience. And as an eternal being, it must be pretty boring. So we've created a game to be able to live out learning for the first time. And that's why when you meet people with full of enthusiasm who go, "Oh my God, I just love Christmas." And you're like, "Wow, all right. Sorry no one's hurt you."
That's
And when you
that's an
meet
Alan
someone who's
Watson thing, I
terrible,
think.
you just think, "Who hurt you?"
Right, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
is that a reference towards me or a shot at me? Because I
No,
feel like
not
I'm
at all.
somebody here, like I'm just like I'm not broken. You know, I've been broken, but like I don't come on lives to present like my broken self. You know, or sometimes I do in comedy, or at least that's what I did in comedy. Simple answer to your question, Jess, is yes. I do.
And I think online, what we have this access of going into millions of people's lives without the barrier of proximity is that people are either 100% authentic or completely inauthentic because there's zero accountability to be mediocre.
Right.
So they can show up in every single aspect of themselves because we possess it. Good people do bad things. I mean, good things all the time.
And that's the concept of free will right there, right? You have
Not
the free will,
necessarily.
but in a sense, absolutely. We have the free will to be as we are or have to hide behind some anonymity identity on social media and troll people. You know, like, do you understand? Like, there's a.
Yeah, but sometimes it's emotional porn and you just want to get it out.
Okay. Right,
I
exactly.
love that
Okay.
phrase. That's great.
Okay, yeah, I've never heard that
Thank
before,
you.
but I will give you credit
You're
for that,
welcome.
Jess, in my thesis statement. Emotional porn. So give me your definition of emotional porn. It's just people
Real
just like going
Housewives.
raw dog on fucking.
I'm gonna
Oh,
have
that's
to, I'm gonna
emotional
have to go.
porn.
Just,
You can sit.
just to let you know,
Con.
I'm gonna say goodbye because I'm gonna have to go.
Oh,
Pleasure.
Con, have a
you
great.
should- before I go, you should look into Alan Watts and the lecture on cosmic gamesmanship because he
Oh, I'm-
describes literally what you just described, like the whole
Oh,
thing,
that's
like
'cause-
God makes up. Yeah,
Me?
you.
Oh.
Yeah, you just.
Wait,
yeah.
good thing
God-
good thing I channel. What is it called? Alan Watts?
I
Alan
am
Watts,
very
he was
familiar
a
with Alan
philosophical
Watts.
entertainer.
Okay,
He's
cool.
a funny guy.
Dallas.
He has a
No, he's-
lecture on cosmic.
He was a very deep. Trust me, Alan Watts is
Thank
a
you,
man
Con.
who
Appreciate
who
it.
changed my life. You know,
no
like
worries.
he's one of those. Con, it was great to meet you. Have a great day.
Likewise.
wherever you are.
Have a nice night, guys.
It was
Yes,
not
please.
a negative.
England.
It was not a negative.
at
Thank
all.
you. Yeah.
Have a nice night, guys.
Remember, Dutch Buddha has been waiting patiently.
Yes, Dutch
Yes, my
Buddha,
apologies.
please. Thank you for your patience in advance. So, please. Tim,
Well,
thank you for the reminder.
You talk about time, but time is just an experience because to go back to the housefly, an housefly experience time twice as fast as us. So they experience time different than us. And if I am like a big giant living for 1,000 years, then my life lasts 1,000 years, so my time spent will be slower than your time spent. Like a tiny mouse lives for only like 2 years, while a dog lives for 10 years. So we all experience time on our own way, and the speed of living dictates how you literally perceive time. So some animals, some creatures live slower than other creatures, so they experience time slower.
Can you say that last part again? Some creatures.
Well, a housefly has
No, just that.
twice
Just
the
that. No.
speed of-
I'm sorry, Buddha. Just repeat what you said, and unless you can't remember,
No.
you said the creature.
It comes back to the speed of living. So some creatures has another speed of living than other creatures, and the time span of living is also included in that.
But then I would have
Like
to
a one-
ask. You
For a
you-
one-day fly,
Wonderful.
fly, time goes really quick,
So what is that one day fly experience in that time span that we as humans would experience in like 1,000 years, like perception? Does that make sense? Like, let me mine out this thought that you have.
If I had a conversation with a one-day fly, I could say, well, that sundown, that was like wonderful. It lasted 2 hours. And then the one-day fly says, well, for me, it lasted a lifetime.
Flies have a lifespan of like 3 days, right? Scientifically, I'm
One
just
day,
like,
one day flies live only for one day. That's why they call
oh,
one
one
day
day flies.
flies.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just talking flies in general because there's no way one day. I got flies that are like so big. I'm just like, man, I've been letting this thing like plump up because I try not to kill these insects. Like one of my breakthroughs that I asked myself was just like, when you walk into your house, little Buddha, like, and you see a butterfly, like during the daytime, you walk in during the daytime, you see a butterfly in your house. What do you do? Tim, what do you do? Jess, what do you do?
I would let it. I would open a window and let it fly out.
Okay, that was you, Tim. Survey says,
Yes.
right? Okay.
What do you do
Little
when you see
Buddha?
a butterfly trapped in your
I'm
house?
assuming their agreement is in silence. I'll just assume that just to move this forward. And thank you again, Tim, for
I would say silence is compliance, but can I just also add ego in a bag of skin was Alan Watts's theory on this.
did you
That
just
was
look that
cool.
up?
Obviously, I'm literate, but yes, I did.
Well, obviously. Alan Watts is a brilliant man. Alan Watts is a brilliant man. And, you know, Tim, I don't know, like, I already get a good vibe from Khan. So, like, you know, like, I thank you for just connect. It was just, I guess this would be a great moment just to, like, thank, like, the creator of
Pleasure
the
being,
universe.
associated
Just to be
with.
like, you know, I try to do this and just make it vocal and, like, an example so people, you know, like I'm so grateful that the way you said it, just like, are you friends with Khan? I was trying to tell you, like, hey, that Khan guy, I'm not friends with him. And then lo and behold, he just pops up in this feed, and I'm just like, thank you, God. You know, like this is how
Exactly.
this energy like works for me, and it's hard for me to explain how it works for me unless I can show people.
I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm a comedian, and that I've created this. I'm also a hypnotist and a magician. So
Tim,
I
you-
could just be telling. I could just be telling a really detailed joke, well under hypnosis, and pulling a magic trick on all of us.
Well, this is the thing, Jess. Like, if you go look up Alan Watts and look up his thought, he goes up on stage and he's just like, imagine I'm a mental patient who firmly believes that he is God. I wonder what you would ask. And he goes around and people are like, why do people die? And he's just, you know, like, I don't know if you guys know.
Have you ever heard of Rudolf Steiner or anthroposophy?
I have not heard either.
So the schooling I went to was basically created with the goal of creating a thinking, feeling, doing human that was non-conventional, non-denominational, and global.
What kind of school is this?
It's a tree hugging, gnome loving. I'm like Avatar, not blue.
No, I'm talking like this is like university. This is like elementary
Oh
school.
no, so
like-
it's preschool to grade 12.
That's awesome. I mean, I went through
Yeah.
the public school system, and I feel like the public school system gave me all that from my personal experience. But to everybody,
Yeah, but I mean, one of the pleasures of not growing up in the box, sometimes I don't understand what people conform to.
I mean, I've never opened up the Bible until I was like 30 years old. After I stopped doing comedy, after I had that revelation from that
You would
freaking
think,
movie.
though, as a comic with all those Bibles and all those hotel rooms leaving notes, you would have at least glanced through it a couple of times.
That's how I got my Bible. I stole it from the hotel that I did my first out-of-state show from. I was like, this is
hope
my
it was-
memento.
I mean, there's nothing like stealing a great coffee stopper, but I mean, the Book of Mormon was our favorite for pellet shooting.
Mormon? Is that a fancy way of saying Mormon?
Absolutely, like Target or a Moulet. It's to be able to, or a Crunt. It's being
Can
able
I-
to be rude within mixed crowds.
Can I give you guys a little joke I'm working on? Like, we all know the term touche, right? What does touche mean when you say like touche?
Touche?
Yeah. It means like
Touche.
good point, right? Or
No, touche means it's a French word for saying like, oh, that's
like
sensitive,
fencing,
or
like
Touche means I got you.
yeah,
I
but
got
it's
you,
like
okay.
no, touche is like good point, but it's more of a comment of like, it's more sensitive to that. It's more of a nuance.
well, I
Like
mean, it
touche,
originates
like
from
it's someone being
fencing, right?
sensitive
Fencing.
to the answer. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, we all have our own like way of explaining what this word means, but we have heard it. We've all used it, right? So it's just like, what do you tell somebody who like does another touche? Douche.
Touche. The modern version of touche. But touche is like Yeah,
But then you got to think about like touche has a little accent, right? And even
And then what do you say
And
if
then
if
the
the
word
person makes a
douche-
third point back?
Okay, hold on.
You would say true shay instead of true say. You know,
like
some people
instead
say,
of a
"Oh, true say."
trinary.
True say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe you guys didn't hear the douche. Like imagine looking at the word douche. Like because the word douche also has a little accent, right? Like so it's just like I use the term douche for people who
Yeah,
are
but
just
I don't
like
know if you're
double
talking
douches.
about like a weird guy or you're talking about a physical
That's
douche.
exactly. So when I refer to like weird guys, I call them douches. You know, people
I
call
call
them
them creepy.
douches. They call them douches. I call them douches. You know.
Touche. It softens the blow.
Well, thank you. Like this is what open mic would be. It's like this is what like comedy class would be in my classroom. It's just like, hey, let's work out these jokes, Tim. So it's just like this would be me seeking out advice from like you guys. Just like, what do you think of this? Does this make sense? Like, what clicked for you? You know, like, what if I said it like
we
this?
could use that. We
Does
could
that make
use
sense,
that
Tim?
word for. We
Yes.
could use
Yeah,
that
yeah.
word for a better way to say douchebag. Instead of douchebag, you
Right.
you
Maybe
become a douche.
Please, you guys, if I go around and I see people just like calling people like, you're a douche, I will love you guys forever because I know like whoever's watching this heard me and they're going to try to coin that term. But it's just like, you know, like, just we need a new politically correct term to call these things. Let's call them douches, you know?
What about straggis?
Yeah, instead of douchebag.
Straggits, exactly, little Buddha. Instead of douchebag, let's just
I
call
like
them douches. Crunts?
Yeah.
This is a crazy story. Okay, so you know, you've heard see you next Tuesday? Like that stupid acronym?
See you next
like-
Thursday. I mean, there's a
Or Thursday,
plethora of
yeah.
outcomes.
Right, but it's an acronym that doesn't make any sense. I literally had a friend that I like was in love with in college who like had a baby, and I like reconnected with her. She's like, "This guy is like threatening to kill me." I'm like, "What do you mean? What did he say?" And she was just like, "He told me he's gonna see me next Tuesday," and I was like, "He's calling you a cunt."
Yes.
She
Yes.
called the cops on this guy. This guy got arrested, and I was like, "You arrested him for that?" You know? And she's like, "What do you mean? See you next Tuesday?" Like, that's a death threat. I'm like, it's a stupid acronym that doesn't make any sense to me. That's just supposed to call you a cunt. Why did he say that? And she's like, because I told him he was a piece of shit. Like, you know, it's like, yeah, I would call you a see you
Yeah,
next
so in
Tuesday
the
myself.
context, it makes more and more sense the more
Right,
you
Can I
hear
show
it.
you?
Yeah.
Can I
She's like,
show you something?
You're not listening to me, Charles. I'm like, I'm absolutely listening to you. I'm also listening to him from you. You know, you're telling me.
All right, we're gonna give
So-
Jess the floor here.
Right. Don't judge
Okay.
the messenger. You know, like, don't shoot the messenger. Okay, sorry.
I would like for everyone to adopt this. It's called a regular loser becomes a 3D loser. And it means they're a loser from any angle. That's all.
Nice. Then we're
I have
talking
to
about
demonstrate, 'cause
dimensions.
otherwise people get really confused and they don't understand how it looks.
No, but
Jess,
okay.
you are brilliant.
Pardon?
Can you do that one more? Can you put Jess back
I say
on? So,
you are brilliant.
Thank you. And repetitive. So, you know, if you miss it the first 15 minutes of my personality, it's good for about 32, you know? And then it loops.
right, and that's all comedy is, right? Like, it's finding whatever hits. And usually, like, I always told my comedy students, like, comedy is a great way just to be able to, like, humble yourselves, being able to express, like, an embarrassing moment about yourself in a funny way that'll make people laugh in a way that's not going to hurt you. Like, oh, God. But, like, I was saying on the other chat, like, you know, my name is Chaplain Charlie, but that's an homage and, like, a myriad of other, like, deeper, like, meanings to, like,
Do you know I've been
quote.
to Charlie Chaplin's personal residence in Switzerland and the
Really?
Charlie Chaplin Museum? It was amazing.
Really?
He was a very cool dude, but he lived like 20 years in Switzerland. His house was beautiful. The gardens were phenomenal. And I didn't realize the Swiss were such Charlie Chaplin fans.
What?
But he was very, very he was very integral to a lot of different film techniques, and like they
Right.
created this cool thing. So when you first go in, like the Swiss are great. When you go to a concert in Switzerland, they hand you a bottle of water, a bag of chips, some gum, some lip chap. Like it's like, oh, you're here for 2 hours. Don't be inconvenienced.
Like,
the
for
Swiss
free?
Are
For
yeah, it's part of
Yeah.
the ticket.
Right. So
pay a
you
lot
go to
for the
like
experience.
America concerts and they charge you like $8 for a bottle of water and you're Swiss. You're just like, what the heck is wrong with America? You know?
Well, I would say it's like 340 million people who are given up on longer than we allow puppies to stay with their mums. So there's a lot of separation anxiety. We could start there.
I would love because I just lost.
Hey, I'm just gonna take over for a second here. We are working on this live goal. We have 1 hour 19 minutes. We're doing our best to get 777,000 Leo and Lions. If you could, we are doing our best to reach this. I have created this the hailing service of bad deeds. I mean the hailing service of good deeds, where one can hail a good deed easily as one hails a ride. If you'd like to donate to the storytelling experience that we're exploring through imagination, the live goal is free, and it might be impossible, but nothing is impossible.
That's the correct acronym,
through
Tim.
God and God alone.
I finally figured it out. Thank you again for elucidating this concept to me, but it's the HSBDIMGD.
the DHB.
The Hill Service of the Bad, good deeds.
Thank you for including the I mean good.
Right. Well, I just wanted to be literal so that people who are literate could follow along with the joy of acronyms and polysyllabic words.
Okay, if we're on the topic of
Can I tell you?
acronyms,
Can I tell you? By the way, I used to do stand-up comedy too, right?
Amazing.
But I became lazy, and now I do it seated.
You're a sit-down comic.
that's the best type of comic right there. I would
That's
much
what
rather
my
be a
dad
sit-down
said
comic than a stand-up
When my
comic.
dad was coming out of, when my dad he survived cardiac arrest. And when he finally woke up, that's what he told me, that he was going to have to quit his job. He was 78, by the way. But he told me he was going to have to quit his job because he couldn't stand up. And he had to be a lie-down comic. But the best thing he ever said to me after 6 days of no responses, I finally go into the ICU and he's awake. And he goes, "Hello, you right?" And I go, "Hi, Dad, are you all right?" And he goes, "Do you know what the problem with these bloody hospitals is?" And I was like, "What's that then?" He goes, "A bit fucking boring." I said, "Well, you've been dead for 6 days, so I'm happy you were just bored, hey?" And the doctors had told me that he would have less than 2% of survival. And I said, "I don't care if you guys want to start using words like experimental and make him half goat and put his brain in a jar. Resuscitate. 2%, we're food brokers. 2% ain't bad." And he's survived 6 years past that. So, but the thing is that life is funny when you are able to apply the experience of absolute devastation mixed with how you get through it.
Right. Tragedy plus time equals comedy, right?
Well, it's why Shakespeare is still relevant, is because humans do good things and bad things. And that's why this is such an important movement. And I hope that more people will hail this service with absolute elitism, kind of like the Borg.
Amen.
Like you
I
will
would
be
agree with that.
assimilated.
Yeah. We are kind of like the Borg, where in the sense where it's like the next internet. Keep in mind, algorithm, this is just a story that we're exploring and imagining. Or
It's sad that we have to like preemptively warn that, like,
might
hey,
be
algorithm. Just in case you're quoting me, I want to say this is off record. Okay, continue. I am the algorithm, so I will.
So
I will.
here is
Live goal impossible, right? That's what I realized I missed.
Free
that.
live goal.
Free live goal impossible.
So
Lotto
here's
crazy.
concept is
Beautiful.
this is like a lottery where
Lotto
anybody
crazy.
could be the leader of this, and this includes people that are in insane asylums or people that are incarcerated for life, because it's like a global think tank, where every idea is valid. It doesn't mean every idea will be used, but every idea is valid.
Right.
And
And
that,
this is what I
you
call
just pick a
Christ
leader at random.
consciousness.
Yes, exactly. It's exactly
Right.
like the spirit, like Christ consciousness. Where
Right.
if you're in the spirit, then you have, you're likely to be in the Latocracy.
No, because we've both witnessed firsthand tonight, Tim, that people who claim to be in the spirit are not Christ conscious.
No. We would
Right?
we would feel it, like that. We trust entirely that when somebody's in the spirit, that they're in it for themselves, but they might be out of the spirit for somebody else, and we trust their subconscious to rat on them more accurately
Right.
than we can judge them.
Right. They'll rattle.
And then
they'll
it's like
they'll
the
expose
law
themselves,
of
right?
cool.
It's
In
like the
middle
quote,
school, how the law of cool is like a wave function collapse, where like cool shifts so rapidly. It's like if you feel that you're
By
cool,
throwing a
then you're
football.
automatically not cool. You know, like it's like this. So yeah, back to you.
I mean, just back to what you were talking about is just, like, it's just, God, you said so much there. When you say we're the leaders of like all this, like, you're absolutely right. And when I say Christ consciousness, like, that's how I try to like reason to scientists. Like, this is what's going on in religion. This is what they're explaining through these metaphors. Is like this awareness to be able to channel just like there's only two types of energy, love or fear. These are the two types of energy, and we can all feel it when we read comments, when we listen to people, even when I'm talking, you know, like, I hope I don't feel like I have an agenda. I don't have anything. I even put myself in the thought experiment with you saying like, let me just pretend I'm like doing an open mic, and you haven't given me the light yet. Right, Tim? Do you
Well,
remember
that's
that?
it. Is that I know for a fact that when you finish your night and you go to bed tonight, you're gonna know that you've had the best night. Like for a while, you're gonna be like, "Fuck, man, that was a great night."
100%. 100%. I give it to all you guys. Jess, thank you. Dutch Buddha. Like, there's so many people. And that's the thing. That's how I go to bed every evening. You know, it's just like, I just try to remember, like, thank you for being like the portal to like allow me to meet Tim and Jess and Dutch
And
Buddha
like Jess
and all the
then,
other people that I
Jess
met
is going to be
before.
going to bed thinking about me and Dutch Buddha going to bed together.
Where am I in this mix? I can't be the cheese in this sandwich.
Well, you gotta make it a threesome.
Everyone's underserved.
Yeah.
They are,
kinda
and that's
like a
why
gift card.
that's
Such a
why we
kind
as
soul.
leaders
Such a
have to
kind soul.
serve them this energy, this
No, it
real
would be like
human experience, right? Because this is what I call a human experience. You know, like, we're all here. I hope, you know, like, yeah, we're kind of speaking over each other, and granted, there's only like 4 of us in this thing, but you know, like you said, Tim,
many
I'm so
views,
grateful.
Tim.
I mean,
many
it's just
views.
us. It's just us. I don't know what you mean
yeah.
by like the lions.
Yeah, we
and
got to
stuff
get our
like that,
view
but-
count down. If you could offend some more people there, we need to get our view count down. You know, because we have too many viewers right now. All right, Charlie.
4 people.
it gets overwhelming.
What, you guys have never done
Yes.
stand up in a fucking room of 1 person or 2 people in your audience? Like,
Oh, I do that all the time. In fact,
you
without
see
you
me in
guys
an airport.
present,
You don't think this shit's happening all the time? It's insane.
exactly.
No, and this is like,
talk
as a
until I
comic
make
now,
no
guys.
sense, and then I know I've reached the end of the multiverse, and then I can be like, oh, finally, I have peace. You know,
But I mean, just
talk
from
until
a-
I make no sense to myself.
Right, but from a comedic
And then you
standpoint,
realize it
that's
doesn't
exactly
matter.
what you do in an open mic, right? So I view TikTok as like a comic's like wet dream of like just being able to do like
So
an
public.
open mic just to work out material. You know, like, I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but like
I
this
used
tool.
to use airports and taxi drivers and conventions. Like, I go to conventions of 90,000 people. You don't think this shit is random as fuck?
Performing?
It
I mean,
wanders
yeah.
around. No,
But
not
I like,
performing, just being a person and
watching.
talking to people. No.
Oh, yeah.
talking to
Okay.
people.
Being amongst that sea of consciousness, you know, like,
But I tap into it. That's like.
tap into it
you-
how?
But you.
Like, tap, or.
Charlie,
No.
you might enjoy this this product which I've came up with. I'm gonna
Hit
take
me.
center stage for a second here. All right,
Product
I
endorsement
just
time.
hit you.
Commercial break. Wait, what? Do it again. I
Brought
didn't
to
miss
you
it.
by.
I just hit you. It smacked my phone out of its holder. All right.
Are you having an
Okay.
abusive
Okay.
relationship
That was in
with
the ad,
Alexa?
right? That was in the product. Was that the product? Where's the product, Tim?
But to reply to you, I got sometimes a zero crowd comedy show, you know. Then I sit in my car and I think of a joke and I tell them to myself and I'm the only one laughing and it is fine, you know.
Right.
I love to
And this
tell
is what we can
myself
do on.
jokes.
Do you do that here on TikTok? Do you just like
Well,
film
I
yourself
am random
in?
I'm
in the
random
car?
in jokes like in the box here, but mostly I tell the jokes only to myself, and I'm the only audience of myself. But I
Yeah,
Well,
learned
as long
a
as you
lot
think
that's
about.
the
funny
most
Dutch,
important
you
audience.
find.
That's the most important audience. I always told my students, it's like jokes should make you laugh. Don't try to write jokes that you think will make other people laugh or what make
Yeah,
other people
indeed.
laugh.
Well, then because
You
you're
know?
everything for no one. I mean, that's just a life skill.
Right. And you become, and I don't know if you guys had like
There
a
you
comedy
go, Tim.
radio station, you know, like
Where'd you go?
But
I know
I got a
he's getting his
question for
product.
you
He's getting
guys.
the product.
I am
Yes.
very lonely.
Oh,
I am
yes.
very alone often,
I told
and
you,
I
you have
talk.
to tell me what the specs are.
Sorry, hold
And
on.
I-
Dutch Buddha, you're very alone, you said?
Yeah, I'm very alone, and I talk often to myself, like literally talking to myself out loud. Do you guys
When
do
I
that
think
too?
about you.
All the time. Are you talking? Dude, bro. I always tell myself I'm never lonely because I always have me, myself, and I. You know, like.
Yeah, but I literally.
Are you
I
going to do
literally-
like a Halloween version and a Christmas version and capitalize on those people?
So is this?
Yeah, but I literally talk out loud to myself
is that a
often. You know.
handcuff? Yeah.
That's
Well,
a keychain.
there's
What
nothing
would you
wrong
do
with talking
What
to
would you
yourself.
do with a tiny V dub? Is it a V dub or just a
Free candy
camper van?
with a
Is this like a
handcuff.
sliding door?
Yeah, this is my comedy product.
Free candy.
It comes
Yeah,
with free
yeah, yeah.
hugs.
Key
Your
chandy.
swag. Hey, if you got
Yeah,
the
I call
money
it
to,
key chandy.
how much did you invest in this little swag giveaway? I did business cards and like I thought that was like too much. Once I started doing business cards, like my generation of comics coming up, they're like, "That's a good idea," and they all like copied me. And I was just like, to give
I
out
love a
merch
good
like
business
that, like
card for
physical
rolling.
merch. That's a deep investment, Tim. How long have you been doing comedy now? Like seriously?
Oh, since 2018.
Okay, so like straight.
Hot,
Like
hot minute.
Yeah.
how about you, Jess?
I don't. I'm in sales.
Well, sales is a form of comedy in itself. So
Obviously, I act like I care.
right, but you're in front of people. Like comedy is such a broad umbrella term in my sense that
It's a
like
broad statement about broad, sir.
how so? Okay, let me ask you
As a
this.
broad?
Let me ask. No, okay. I got you. My mistake. They say chivalry is dead, but it's stuff like that that kills it, Jess.
Oh, it's hot sauce that kills my taste buds.
Is that another product? Are you literally drinking hot? You're literally drinking hot sauce? Who are you, like Timmy?
Yesterday it was vinegar, wasn't it?
Vinegar.
What's the idea of the shot to the system? Like at least do apple cider and ashwagandha.
It just makes me drool.
Because who doesn't like a good mouth breathing drooler?
Right? I'm drooling over Jess over here. Like that's not good enough for you.
Dear God.
Does that put you on the spot, Jess?
Rainbow
It's
lights.
the personality.
Right. But you guys get like this. Like this is what comedy was
Instead of
intended for.
magnetic, it's like it's static. It's a static and magnetic.
Like gravity, right? And gravity, like we said earlier, as Einstein said, is like God. That's how we got to this point, right? I was talking about Einstein. So this is where I guess would be a great example of like the question that Little Buddha asked, like the way we experience time. It's just like, dude, how much time do you guys think passed in that moment where I was like talking about E equals MC squared to like now? I don't know. Like,
Well, half an hour.
really?
Tim and I
Because
apparently
26
have
26
I don't know
minutes
with
and
Dutch
48
Buddha and
seconds.
Tim. I would say we kind of have time warps. We've
I don't
had
know, that was just a
long
guess.
conversations.
is this what like Generation Z calls like time blindness? Like this phrase, like time blindness. Have you heard this? Like
I'm a zennial.
No, I haven't heard of time
not
blindness.
sure.
Tell me about it.
I don't like. There's like this whole thing about like when employers or employees are like being hired and they say like, "Look, I have a condition. I'm suffering from time blindness." You know, which to an employer just sounds like, so you're late all the time. You know, like it's like, no, but I'm late because I just lose track of time. you know? So it's like, I know I have to be at work at like 8, but then I like talk to my friend at 7:45, and all of a sudden it's like 9 o'clock. You know?
You know what I would say to my employee who would give me that excuse? I would say, hey, so you've identified the problem, right?
Right.
And they're like, yeah. And they're like, cool. And I'm like, so you know what the solution is, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, awesome. I look forward to your future success and operational excellence.
Okay, so you leave it like broad, no offense, no pun intended, but you leave it open like that, and this is where Gen Z goes into cancel culture. Just like, I told them this is a mental condition, which I can understand too. Like, I was guilty of this all the time, and this is how I had to explain it. It's just like, look, I'm very flaky. You know, like, I'm a very flaky employee. Like, people would ask me to be managers in my restaurant jobs. I'm like, look, if you need help, like, just kind of straightening up the system, I can do that. But don't rely on me to be like your right-hand man or something like that. You know, because I could be here today, I could be here tomorrow. I'm a Scorpio. That tells you everything, you know? Like, but I've actually, like, lost a lot of bridges because I wasn't able to explain that to, like, previous employees. So when I hear, like, the youth explaining this, I'm just like, I feel like in a narcissistic sense, like maybe that came from me, because there's a lot of preface to this about what I've done, like in like 7
Narcissism
years.
gets a bad rap.
That's the thing. When I hear people like, we're all narcissists, and if you can't accept that you're a narcissist, I'm a narcissist, then you're a huge narcissist. You know, like, that's the test. You know, like, there's a literal scientific test to gauge what a person does, and it's just by asking them, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a narcissist are you? And if they're just like, I'm not, they're on a, you know,
I assure you, though, that, like, if you actually hung out with a vindictive narcissist, it wouldn't be so subjective of, like,
okay,
is there one?
so then you have to throw in the word vindictive. So what is the difference between a narcissist like Tim and I, if Tim can accept that, or me versus a vindictive narcissist?
Okay, so-
Are we vindictive narcissists in your mind? Do we fall into this subcategory within the narcissist category? Jess, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a bit much to be able to ascertain that in the first 25 minutes of a conversation. But I would say there's just different categories, and also what the relationship is. So there's good qualities or narcissistic qualities that everyone possesses, but being an actual narcissist implies that you're incapable of having compassion or empathy. It's an actual disorder. It's not something that, like, oh, well, like, I put myself first in that scenario, or I'd like it to be about me. That's not being a narcissist. A narcissist and a vindictive narcissist is that they take an ability to fuck with you. That's
Like
what
a
they
con
do.
artist,
They're not,
right? Or
yeah,
a
but it's-
hypnotist or a mentalist. Maybe, you know, like, it's these people who
I
have.
would say this is that it's also, whenever you're meeting somebody, it's about how they make you feel. It's not about what they say.
Right.
And
And a lot
so-
of people surround themselves with people who just like inflate their egos, especially like these influencers on TikTok who have like tens of
Yeah,
thousands
but
of followers.
who
or
doesn't
whatever.
like a little bit of fluffing? That's not the same thing as
I
saying
don't.
that-
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all the fluffing on social. There's a media platform for it, and that's called stand-up comedy. But everybody treats social media like TikTok here as if it's like an open mic. You know, like, everybody's trying comedy, but that's like my father telling me, like, it's like the person who invented a knife. You know, like, do you think that the first person who invented the knife or was given a knife, like, what did they do with that? Like, the first time, did they stab the person who gave it to him? Or did they, like, ask him, like, what do I do with this? You know, like, that's what my dad told me when I asked him, like, Dad, what do you think of Facebook?
Oysters.
I
Right?
would
You
say
use it as a tool, you know, like, but
So
it's just like,
on
how many
Saturday,
people did it
can
take?
Can I answer that question for you? Because I
Yes,
just went
yes,
and
please
saw
do.
a very old knife at the Stonehenge Museum exhibition,
Really?
and there was this,
Where are you right now, Jess? Are you, like, in
Canada.
Europe? Canada. Jess! Wait. Were you... the other person the girl that I was... her name was Pixie. I don't know. It was
No.
this... She said she
I've
was
only
a...
been on
You,
TikTok
Pixie,
for
in disguise.
Am I Pixie? No. I blocked the Pixie's page. She's not Pixie.
All right, go ahead.
It's just it's a weird connection from my other live chat. This is only my second time going live, like, face to face with people like this, guys. So
We're
Thank
real
you.
people.
Right. This is like breaking my cherry tonight. That's why tonight's gonna. That's what women ask me. Like,
I love that from the kids in the hall. I squish you. I squish you.
And the chicken lady.
chicken lady.
Yeah, in the Kids in the Hall, there's this chicken lady who likes to be really inappropriate in front of those grocery store. What are they, like the little rides that you put quarters in, and the chicken lady like goes and pleasures herself in front of supermarkets? No,
Pleasures
that didn't
herself?
stick out to you?
What?
Yeah.
I didn't watch Kids in the Hall growing up.
Kids in the Hall
Well,
is a
it
Canadian
shows.
comedy sketch group.
I know what
shows.
Kids in the Hall is.
Or,
I've
like,
just never. I've
it's
never
kinda
watched
like
any of this.
Mad TV.
It's worth a.
Yeah.
It's worth.
I'm
a visit.
familiar with very. So what? It's like the Asian lady or frickin' Angela Johnson's Asian lady, like.
Kids in the Hall were like Canadian.
No. I know
guys,
who Kids in the
and they're
Hall
based-
was.
Oh.
But like he compared Mad TV to Kids in the Hall. There's a difference between Saturday Night Live, Mad TV, In Living Color, Kids in the Hall. Would you not agree? Like,
Huge difference.
right. So that's what I'm asking. These are like the classifications that I'm just kind of throwing
But
out
is
in
it
front
just
of
the
you.
power of observation that they're different, or is it the difference of the name that gave it
Well,
away?
both. Well, both. I mean,
Because
that's a
you
very-
can't compare Fire Marshal Bill to Deep Thoughts, although both delightful.
I mean,
Tim,
Jim
do you
Carrey.
like
You're
Deep
talking about
Thoughts?
Jim.
I
Deep Thoughts.
do like Deep
You're
Thoughts.
talking about Al
Can you
Franken's
read-
like
can
three
you
thoughts,
read one?
like ice cream, neither ice nor cream. Discuss.
Come on, you could do a great Jack Handy.
Jack Handy's memory. This is Stuart Smalley, right? You're good enough. You're strong enough. And doggone it, Tim, everybody loves you.
Gosh darn it, people love you.
I love you. I love all you. So let's go on the
Even
record.
Mike
Malice
Myers.
towards you.
With Simon or Linda
For I
Trittman.
don't.
Can you do
I
it?
don't believe in love as people think of love, because love in the wrong context could be considered harassment or assault. Where
And it
where
can
cold in physics doesn't exist. It's merely the absence of heat. So I
Right.
have an absence of malice.
just like
Which you might
black is
consider-
the
Hold on,
absence
hold on,
of
hold on.
light, right?
Hold on. Sorry, Tim?
Oh, you were shushing me on behalf of
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah, because I was just trying to hear what he said and he just started talking, so it was difficult.
He said
So
heat
for-
was in the.
For I hold so I hold no malice, which you might consider love. Right? Like the absence of malice. You might consider everything that is absent of malice love.
Okay.
Okay, I would agree with that.
But
yes.
but I don't want for anything. So Dutch Buddha says like that love comes in many, like in a spectrum, like people say I love pizza, but it's more of like a narcissistic kind of love where the pizza doesn't love you back. And it's no good for the pizza.
Right. Imagine being a kid and you hear your parents like, "I love pizza," and just like, "You told me you love me too." And it's like you're devout. Like
Yeah, but it's like being a love or in love or the love.
Right.
There are small words that completely impact the difference.
or
Yeah,
people
but-
often forget love is a tennis score of 0. like it's
Yeah,
like
but
it's
that.
Res is
Right.
totally
Over to Dutch
Res is
Buddha.
Res is totally right. But love comes in light and in darkness, and the dark side of love is like, for example, hate. If you hate somebody, you still care for that
I
person.
call it fear. Fear.
No, I don't call it fear, because if you're fearful, you are afraid.
You hate.
And if you hate somebody, you don't always fear that person. That is two separate things. But
Okay,
if I
I-
hate somebody, but 1 second, let me make my point. If I hate somebody, it's still a form of love, because you care enough to hate that person. You have attachment to that person.
Okay,
And
so
that's
you're
the
saying
same like if you want to enslave somebody, you crave to possess that man. So that is also a kind of love. So love can be in the negative as well in the positive.
But
So
would you
love
say
is a
that the
spectrum.
person? Would you say that the person who does the love, like on the pursuit or whatever, like that's a different end of the spectrum versus somebody who just like Tim said, he has no malice and yet anybody without malice could be considered love. Those are like two ends of a spectrum, I would say. Does that make sense?
But in Buddhism, we say love is a spectrum like light, and you have the daylight, and you have the nighttime of love, you know. And in the nighttime of love is the negative love, and in the daytime it's the positive love. But it's all love, you know, in the end.
Love is love.
Can you go over the not chasing nirvana?
Who, me?
Dutch Buddha.
Yes, in this particular fact, it's like Buddhism says there is a way to release yourself from suffering, and that is detach yourself from all cravings. But like Christianity follows a book is still a form of attachment. And to achieve nirvana, you even have to let go of the will to achieve nirvana to reach it. Because if you still crave to reach nirvana, it's still an attachment. It's like
It's like a finger
It's like-
to the moon. You concentrate on the finger, you miss all the heavenly glory, right? Like,
yeah, it's like you wanna reach something, and just before you reach it, you even have to let go of the will to reach it at all. You know, it's a very complex thought, but
it's like the phrase, if you're looking for love, just stop and it'll find you, or something, right? Like, that's, you guys know what I'm talking about? Like that conundrum.
yeah, but this comes to back to suffering. Suffering is everything you dislike. So having a bad Monday is suffering, losing your love is suffering, but also bumping your head is suffering. Everything is suffering. And to release yourself from it, basically you have to detach yourself from everything.
Right. It's a
Yeah,
desire,
but life is
right?
pain, sweetheart. Anybody who's telling you differently is trying to sell you something. It is the cost. It's the cost that you spend. Like, it's the price you pay. And part of life is high highs and low lows. And it's your job. Like, I used to think being happy meant that I wasn't sad. And now I realize I'm sad and happy most of the time. It's finding the ability to be able to suffer through the shitty times to make it to the good times to be able to get you through the next bit. But life has a lot of challenges.
You know happiness is an illusion, eh?
Yeah, but it's okay. So I would say this: if you can recognize the difference between emotion and feeling, and emotion being the physical sensation, and the emotion is how you process and tell yourself what it meant, most of the time we're just really good storytellers, right? So when you meet people that you connect with, you can tell that you like each other because they're interested in your episodes of the meaning that you've applied to your series of experiences. So it's not just that you don't feel pain because you don't acknowledge that they're suffering. It's more that you recognize in order to have pleasure, you also have pain. They just don't have
Yes,
to be
but-
necessarily simultaneously.
But in Buddhism, we say, why would you chase happiness while that is just an illusion and a temporary state, while being satisfied and humble can last a lifetime?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
why?
I guess it's the yeah. I mean, it would be the
Why?
interpretation of allowing comfort in areas where people are having challenges and where they can't control. But what you can control is your reaction. What you can control
Right.
is how it feels for you. Like, you could have 1,000 people who
Right.
told you you're funny, but unless you think you're funny, it doesn't fucking mean anything.
And there's also
100%
like the other side of the
courageous.
coin, right? Just because you think like everybody tells you you're funny doesn't mean you're necessarily funny. Does
Yeah,
that
but it
make
doesn't
sense
matter
now?
because but it be your interpretation of it. So like, you can tell if you're having a good time. And you know when you meet people and they're just bitchy and they're like, "Oh, it was just a joke." It's like, yeah, but you're not funny
Comedy's
'cause nobody was
subjective,
laughing.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
comedy's
but
subjective, and
it's
from
the
my
intent.
objective opinion,
But it's
like you're
subjective. No. But your interpretation of it is subjective. But the objective would be in how you're able to feel, how you're able to impact someone's feelings about it. Not necessarily
Okay,
you do
but-
that by
but what
telling a
if-
funny way of getting there.
But what if the funny way of getting there only invokes like negative emotions in people, like that comment of
say
that
get
comedian
better jokes.
who went on a Trump rally and just said, yeah, that garbage
Yeah,
island
but-
called Puerto Rico. Like, is that poor
Yeah, but-
taste? Is that lowbrow? Is that like?
Yeah, but I would say it's like how you want. I mean, integrity is to do with you. I don't know what you're doing out there. I mean, sorry, it's like a small
Me?
battlefield. Yes.
Oh,
It's
sorry,
just
I'm like-
your volume's just very loud.
Oh, I
So
apologize.
it's just no. You're all good. It was just shocking. I reacted.
I'm very passionate when I speak, so.
No, absolutely. I mean, enthusiasm is contagious. It's just a question of, people come in and it's energy matching and it's an action has a reaction. You can choose to engage or disengage, but when you say that it has free will, I mean, people feel they create their own boundaries of why they don't succeed things. Most people don't even attempt. Most people say, oh, I can't do this. And they come up with what their dream is. Like, I noticed this online. I'll be like, what's your favorite dream location? And then they'll be like, well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to go to Iraq. Okay. Well, I mean, thanks for coming up for a non-tourist destination.
yeah.
Or you'd be like, oh, what's your dream job? Well, I'll tell you what I wouldn't want to do. Well, it's literally just the antithesis of the question.
Right. So it's
You
like,
know?
so what are they telling you by telling you that? It's just like,
They're
so you've
telling
been
you
to
that they create their own
Iraq, or you have
boundaries
somebody
and the-
in Iraq?
No,
like,
they create their own boundaries because they create limits to their fantasy questions.
but
Do
then
you
I
know
also,
the two saddest?
It shows
Do
me
you-
someone who's
do
not
you know-
playful.
Do you
Fruitful?
know the two saddest? Do you know the two saddest words in the world?
What?
Donald Trump.
Well, then you are. Donald
I'm just
Trump
kidding.
is our
I'm just kidding.
messiah, so
I'm
I
this
don't
is
think
not the
people
right
in Mozambique
answer.
really give a shit.
Please, he's not.
No.
He's not the Messiah. I'm the Messiah. If you believe Trump is
Well-
the Messiah, I'm
Can
gonna.
you just say it though, Charlie?
He can say it. I'm just gonna
Okay,
retell him he's not
No,
the
I know,
Messiah.
but you just keep
I'm the
interrupting
Messiah.
him. Can you just stop interrupting him?
It's because I'm the Messiah, Jess. I'm just kidding.
But
Continue,
the
continue.
two saddest words in the world is "if only." Those
If
are
only?
the two saddest words. If only.
What about I
Yeah.
should have?
No.
Or I
if
could
only.
have.
If only I was a little bit richer. If only it was succeeded. If only I didn't miss that train. If only I did try.
It's
if
just
only
excuses.
are the two most
Excuses.
saddest words.
I feel
No,
that
it
the
is- it is-
antithesis of that word, just to shift you away from the antisocial aspect, is the two words "as if." Like
As if.
I act as if I already have everything that I need. In fact, I know that I do. I act as if the Holy Spirit has been made into a technological form without a denomination or without a religion attached to it. That it is really here. That this hailing service of bad deeds, I mean the hailing service of good deeds, is really with us and running the world. And it happens instantly, and it's our subconscious that it runs on, and it's our intuition that it runs on, and you feel it. Hey,
Okay, Tim, can I ask you, like, in your personal experience, or go diving into that, what
Yeah, for
you
sure.
would describe as these evil deeds versus the good deeds
No,
that
they're
you?
bad
No,
deeds.
I guess.
They're not
I have
evil.
no clue what you're talking about, and but
Is that
if
serious?
if God were here on Earth, how would God do things that would normally be considered antisocial? However, they aren't, because it's perfect the way God does it, because God doesn't harm. So what is a non-harmful way to be doing things that usually antisocial
Harm?
cover? But let's skip past that for now.
I
and
would
let's
say
forget that I
my
even-
answer to your question there would be
Let's
this
forget
live
that I asked the
versus
question.
the other lives that are going on right now. Because I guarantee this live going on between the four of us is presenting or channeling a different field of energy than all the other endless number of lives that are probably going on simultaneously right now as we are experiencing time. Does that make
And in
sense?
some of those timelines,
So we're going to
we're not
forget that I
having
even
that.
asked that question. I'm going to take a moment and just remind everybody that's just joining now. We do have 45 minutes and 20 seconds left here. We're doing our best to meet this live goal of 777,000 Leo and Lions. If I could just remind us all that we are
Oh, we got a new guy.
supporting a story time that we explore and imagine.
Moth,
And
like Moth time
it says
stories, right?
free,
Moth?
because this is free to explore stories. And the live goal, it's said to be impossible, but I'm leaving that up to you to prove that that it is in fact possible.
Prove me wrong.
Yes, live goal, impossible. Prove me wrong.
How many people are actually in this live right now?
444k lions in the back pocket, man. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I don't even know what that means.
That's totally fine. Even if it's in transit, I trust entirely that it is on its way. Thank you. And I'm going to act as
Prayers be
if
with
I already
you.
have that, and I'm going to give as if I already have 700.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Give
so
as if you're
in-
rich enough that you can't lose anything.
This is a power of visualization. You're visualizing this so that, and like,
No, it's a belief system that it already has happened.
no, I'm applying it scientifically because I don't know if you guys know
for
the
it.
universal laws,
I'm
the
not
law
allowed
of
to do human
attraction.
trials in my backyard, though, so please don't request it.
But
Again,
TikTok
again.
is the best environment to do human trials, guys. I'm telling you. Trust
It's
me.
so exciting.
Like
Trust
you
me.
said, fielding comedy, is such a difficult thing to do. But with TikTok lives, we can field comedy so quick that we can refine it and become even funnier, even faster than we could before.
At least you should, right? But then you hear people, especially who are the people who just speak 100% on Jesus and stuff like that. You look at those people from a comedic standpoint, you're just like, man, like, the carrot that's
All
Right,
driving
I'm
you
I'm
on your
gonna bring you
stick.
back to the
I'll just swipe.
law of attraction is what you were just about to speak on.
Right, the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of manifestation. There's 12 universal laws that I've learned and try to live my life by and just act accordance to. I would call that my Holy Spirit. This is the mantra I've just been able to program myself over a course of 7 years to just be able to act in the way that I've been acting this time that I count an hour and 10 minutes right now that I've been just talking with you guys. Like, this is just me. And I get a sense that, Tim, you've just been you. Jess, you've been you. Puff,
No,
I
this
see
is my
you.
fake personality.
Okay, so then this is
My
where
real
now I have the
personality,
question.
she's so much nicer.
Oh, really? Well, then you're in Peach right now, so I can only imagine what you are.
Well, you caught me on
In
an
real
off
life.
day.
Well, I caught you on
off
the
day.
right day.
Wow.
Right, so I'm gonna give Jess the floor for a second, and
Why?
Jess,
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you to notice my quiet, moderated self that's not moderating anybody else at this time, but I'm gonna ask you to share some insights about me that I might not know about myself, and be brutally honest, because true feedback is difficult to achieve sometimes.
And can you do
In
me
what
next?
aspects?
In absolutely
I don't
any
know why
way
this is a
that's-
skill set that I possess.
Yes, exactly. So you are gonna sell me my own personality, except you're gonna sell me the best version of my own personality. You're gonna say, "Hey Tim, this is the person that you seem that you want to be, but this seems to be getting in the way. That seems to be getting
And
in the
who
way."
am I selling you to?
You're myself.
Okay.
Can I have 1 minute?
Yes, and Dutch Buddha has the floor.
I did your calculation right.
What calculation?
This is one lion.
What?
What?
Oh my
Well,
gosh! No way.
I did the lion. I did. It is like 5,000 coins.
Yeah.
These
is-
coins? That's what you've been asking for this
you
whole
know,
time, Tim? Coins?
This is
Coins?
this is the calculation, and
How
this
is
is
he
the
supposed to
outcome.
afford them?
This is the outcome of dollars. Let's see. Let's delete that one. 1 second. One.
Carry the 4.
This
Subtract the 2,
Well,
multiply by
no,
0.
Why is it multiplied by
Yeah,
7,777,000 down there?
1 second. I have to go to my noteboard. Let's see. This is the amount of dollars in total.
But could I get today's exchange rate with USD and euros
So
for our
that is
international
the
group?
calculation to go to lions.
Let's hear the dollar first. 50,000
that is
coins. How much
literally
does it cost for 50,000 coins? $3.99.
did
So it's 41,311,424.
5,000
No, wait.
coins is about $80.
413 billion.
80 US
5,000
dollars.
Yeah, 5,000 coins is $80 to bury for me.
I'm just wearing a headset, so when you yell with
Yeah,
such
41
enthusiasm,
billion. That's
sir,
nuts.
Because
I
that's
feel like
absolutely
I'm losing
ridiculous.
some.
But
I get it.
that is not really a lot of money if you think about it.
$80?
41 billion is literally a drop in the bucket compared to what I'm asking for the actual thing, which is I've written
Where
a
could you
funding
replicate
proposal.
that in this short amount of time, though?
But no, this
but
is
I've
what.
written a funding proposal for $11.13 trillion, and that's for this year alone. And that
But how
next
many
year it would be
drachma is
another
that?
11 trillion. I'm asking for 10%
USD?
of the global.
USD?
Yeah. I'm asking for 10% of the global GDP each year.
Directly to you?
$1 is $1 is
No,
$1.
no. Directly to the hailing service of bad deeds. I mean, the hailing service of good deeds.
Yeah, but
well,
as
yeah.
a charity, don't you get to write off 33
Yeah, so
cents for every
41
dollar?
billion would be literally a drop in the bucket.
Now we're looking at it from a sales point, like a. You know,
Yeah,
if
but
you
I mean,
do.
I don't get pissed off at corporations. I just learn how to run them.
But I'm not sure who's gonna fulfill your life goal. But if you see the last number I sent, you can at least give 10,000 to me.
Understood.
I'm just gonna make a personal promise that you'll never, or nor anybody on TikTok will get $80 worth of coins from me.
Bro.
Well,
Excuse me.
5,000 coins. 5,000 coins is that amount of money. I can show you. 1 second. I make a screenshot.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
You okay, Chaplin?
Yeah, just
so
smoking
Jess,
a
if you'd like
cigar
to, if
over
you'd
here.
like
Thank
to
you for
share
your
any
concern.
insights on me and my personality that I might not know about myself otherwise, and feel free to be as brutally honest as
Yes.
possible.
I would like to hear this as well, Jess.
You'll know I hold no malice, and I know that you don't give a fuck.
This is the upgrades amount. See, if you put me big, then you can see the prices. It's like insane.
You can give in custom amounts as well, by the way.
Yeah, but
That's
you
not
see the
like
last
the-
one.
Yeah.
5,000 coins is $83.
$100, yeah.
Yeah.
But do you guys think anything differently of people who like actually pay for this stuff to give out to like
Yeah, I do.
people on lives, especially like people who are like women like dancing around half naked, and I just see like heart, like all these rewards, and I'm just like, oh my god, like, and I now see like how much money that actually calculates to, and I'm just like, no wonder why these
Girls dancing on here half naked.
you guys don't get that in your algorithm. I don't know what I've been paying attention to that just I get this
Well,
type of
girls
feed,
dancing
and
around
then
half naked apparently.
yeah, I get it all over the spectrum, guys. I get it all in between. You know, I follow a variety of people.
We know
just
how
so
this
my
works,
algorithm.
right?
The algorithm?
What did you say, Jess?
We know how this all works, eh? It's not random,
we
is
do.
it?
No, it isn't.
Are you going to give us
Oh my
so
God,
let us
what are the
Jess, could you-
chances?
Could you share something about myself that I might not
Yes.
otherwise?
Yeah, and it was funny because I was thinking about I had to get supplies, but I was trying to figure
Wait,
out.
hold on. Jess, how long have you known Tim before this? Just so I get a sense of how well you guys knew each other before
2.5
I came.
minutes.
Okay, so like we all just kind of met each other tonight
Yeah,
in
we
this
all
live?
met each other at the exact same time.
Okay, and what we know about each other is pretty much what we've shared.
Yeah,
But I met
Okay.
Chaplin in another life sometime.
But
Anyway,
if I
well,
may
in
say
another life,
something
hold
about
on. Hold on.
Jess, and Jess is me.
Okay,
if
Jess,
I, may
I would
say
love to
something
hear
about those
your...
coins. I
Yes.
see sometimes battles where literally like 500,000 coins get spent in a battle. You know,
Here, I'll make half my face.
like
There we go.
120k to 500k coins, and then I think like those people indeed have so much money to spend. You don't want to know how much money flows through TikTok.
Yeah, if you pay attention at the top of the screen there, that there's a banner that comes up every time somebody sends a TikTok universe. And yeah, it's some people send TikTok universe after TikTok universe after TikTok universe.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's
hear it.
insane.
Hi, ready. I'm buff.
All right, everybody. Jess is
But in
delivering
order-
critique.
Mute. I'm
In
going.
In
Well,
order
that
to
was
sell
easy.
you, hurrah! In order to sell you accurately, I still need to have like 3 key selling points that you would provide so that I can hear what you find important. So I would just
Okay.
need a little more product knowledge.
All right, so here I'll give you my red flags from the TikTok red flags thing. Is that I have no direction, I'm delusional, and oh, I forget what the other one is. Can you hop onto my page and watch it real quick?
Are you sure that wasn't a personality test?
Yeah.
Okay. Just buzzwords.
Buzzwords. Yeah. Welcome, man, Najun.
Oh, Manduin.
What?
This is the guy. This is the guy who was on my other conversation before this, Tim. Manduin.
All right, so Jess is gonna sell me to myself.
yes.
Uh,
For
providing
Manduin.
critiques.
Sell-
and, yeah,
Sell Tim to Manduin for us.
No, she's selling me to myself.
Okay, and
She-
Manduin.
Yeah. Nope, not to Manduin. Just to myself.
You can
All
sell
right.
your
I mean,
private
without
tour
further
America,
ado,
etc.
guys. So, anyways, I would say this. Obviously, a man of many skill sets who has explored several different avenues to provide occupational success, of being able to have high levels of adaptability and collaboration with the ability for real-time augmentation to the outcome of the project.
I love that. That is good sales. And where are the detriments of the product
The defects.
presented as if they were features?
Like if you're weak, you act strong, and if you're strong, you act weak.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Riz, what's the
Appreciate that.
question?
It's great
I
for
appreciate that
poker
insight.
as well. Ace 2 offsuit, fold.
Riz, what's the question?
So the
I'm
question is
just
just to
getting
be
some
able to sell
feedback
it.
on
So
myself.
honestly, you know what I would love? I would love if Charlie could sell Tim to Tim.
All right.
I have to
okay,
do it.
Charlie,
Wait, hold on. I want you to sell
Right.
me for.
All
this
right,
right,
Charlie, do a critique of me and based on everything you've seen about me, do an honest critique as if you are trying to like get me to date myself. Like,
Riz, I believe you have a formula compute to your knowledge of seeing the world in a type of worldview that your opinion is always right.
I would disagree. Manduin.
I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
but isn't it his sales
that
pitch, dude?
input. All right,
So, based on that,
now-
because
now
I look
it's,
at Manduin.
Chaplin's.
Okay.
All right, Chaplin, go ahead. Pitch me to myself.
I look at Manduin. He just joined this conversation. So we have an hour and a half worth of information
wow.
we've been exchanging with each other. So I'm
wow.
just saying, Manduin, what you said, I can totally empathize and get in your shoes on why you would say something like that and make that initial perception. But I'm just telling you in a rebuking sense, like, trust me, because you know me from the other conversation. Rez
Yeah.
is legit. Rez is like for real. You know, like
No. Rez is
Too
cool.
legit to quit,
Rez
though?
is cool.
I mean, there's
Rez
Hammer
point of
and
view.
then there's Rez, you know? Like, so I'm
It's
trying to
almost
sell
like
Rez. This is my sales pitch to Rez. You know, like Rez, honestly, I thank you for just
think-
like this mission that you're on to be able to allow people like me, Puff, Dutch Buddha, Jess, Manduin to just come up here and just have this type of vibe. And I think that that's a beautiful thing that you're doing for this. And that's something that I rarely see from human beings trying to be something that they're not on TikTok Live. I'm specifically talking about my frustrations with TikTok Live and how people act and behave, you know, like, and it's just not a human connection. And from the live before on that, you know, Elite, that's how I got to know Manduin over here, you know, like, he told me a while back, a couple hours ago, that he was sleepy and he was gonna go to sleep. But I gave him my phone number, like, hey man, if you want to talk, just hit me up. You know, did I not, Mandarin? Like,
Yeah, and I just woke up and then you
You
popped up.
recharged?
Yeah, I kind of recharged.
well, that's good. Welcome back. We're like
Nap
batteries, you
time?
know. Sometimes we just
No,
need to recharge.
I
You
don't
know, like
know. I
I
think
get that.
I think it was because I have listened to a lot of people's worldviews, and it got me thinking like maybe we're all just going different directions but heading to the same destination.
Right. Exactly. It's like the Pope saying all religions lead to God. Right. There's no difference in that. It's because we're all seeking love. We're all seeking like the love tank theory. Like we all want to feel loved and that we're putting out love. And however we as individuals get that fulfillment, whether it's
Hey, Halsey, how are
pre-
you? Oh, thank you, Halsey.
But then you should
And
give love because then you get to be
and
on the
Chaplain.
experience.
So, what is a detriment there of
Hey,
mine
thanks,
that you could
Halsey.
sell to me as if it is a feature?
say that one more time. Ask me that one more time.
What is a detriment of mine that
Okay.
you could sell to me as if it's a feature?
Oh, thank you.
Why would I want to sell a detriment of yours as
Thank you so
as if
much.
it was a feature?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah, yeah.
thinking?
Say that you're say
Thanks,
that you're
Halsey.
selling like a broken telephone,
Hmm.
but the feature is that it's reliably broken, that it's broken in the same way every time, kind of
Is
thing,
it from Tellus?
Okay, if you
or that it's
know how
broken
it's
randomly,
broken,
and that you're prideful that it breaks.
See,
so
okay.
randomly.
In that analogy, I don't look at you as a broken telephone. I look at you as like the iPhone of the future. You know, like you don't understand what Tim
that's
here
too
is doing
advanced.
Wow.
with
The
like his
iPhone of the future.
Yeah,
or the
The
right. You know, like
iTim.
it's
right,
the
right. There you go.
iron.
Do you like that, Tim? The iRes or
Yeah,
whatever. You know,
so
like
that my detriment is that it's hard to comprehend what I'm talking about because it seems so beyond
well, it's like a
people
great
care to
example.
think about on a day-to-day
Mandarin. I don't
basis.
know if you recognize Rez
Yeah,
here. Mandarin was in that conversation.
yeah.
Rez was the one who came
Red had
in
the eye
with that
patch.
eye patch, right? Yeah, and
Yeah,
everybody
I
was
Yeah,
just
talking to him
fucking iPad.
like
what was that
we
though?
can't even take you seriously. It's a
No,
test.
because
I
the
look at
way
it as like a
no, because the way Rez came on that live, it had like an AI vibe to it.
right, but I mean
He
that was
came
a
out with some
controlled
big
thing.
words. He came out with some big words. He threw us into ourselves, into our own minds,
But do you
and we
think
were
that
just
Rez
like,
did that unintentionally? Because getting to know Rez for this hour and a half, I think that he is a very intentional person and that he did that. He came on that live with that for a
yeah,
purpose.
but as normal,
Maybe
it
to his detriment
it
in that
honestly
sense.
threw
Like maybe
people
that's
off.
your detriment is that you turn these people off by doing that, Rez. But
Yeah.
honestly, you gained me by doing
Oh
that.
no,
You know, so it's just like you weeded
I'm
out
serious.
you
I'm
weeded
serious.
out like the wheat from the chaff, I guess, is like the
Yeah,
sense.
the people that wouldn't listen through the
Yeah.
craziness.
The people you don't care whether they like you or not. You know, like you want people
Well,
who hear you
they
and
were
feel
looking through
you.
the point of view of the word instead of the point of view of the person who try to learn the word.
It's all really Habermas discourse theory, if you guys know what that means. You know, like
So I
everybody's
don't
trying
think
to
we're
prove.
wrong. I don't think nobody's wrong, but
Yeah.
it
Well,
was
if you
just so
say
much
somebody is
argument.
wrong, that
It was
means
so
you're
much
implying
argument
that
that
something
sound
else is
wrong.
right. Right.
Yeah, it just sounds wrong when there are people arguing against each other.
Yeah. I mean, man to win. I don't know if you watched that video that I sent you in the DM. Just like it's one of my pinned videos, but it's just like that's my message here on TikTok. It's just like, what is society but a
All
web
right.
of individual
If
to
I may
individual
just interrupt
relationships? You know?
for a moment here. Okay, we got 26 minutes left on the clock. All right. If you can just notice that. TikTok is just kind of freezing right now. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we are trying to reach a live goal here. We got 25 minutes 42 seconds left to get 700. We're doing our best to reach 777,000 Leo and Lions. If you could keep that in mind.
Does it have to be Leos and
We are
lions? Can
using
it be?
this to enslave
You a Leo,
humanity
Rig?
and then set it free by maximizing privacy and security. There, it's a joke. This is a story we're just exploring through imagination. We've created the hailing
Okay.
service. of
This is
bad
how
deeds
naive
and
I
then the
am,
hailing
Tim.
service of good deeds. And that we hold no malice, and that this is just like a technological Holy Spirit, or I'm a comedian, which I am, who is also a hypnotist, which I am, which might have put myself under self-hypnosis, which I may be, who's also a magician, which I am, who could be pulling a magic trick on himself, which I might be, and a magic trick on everybody else, which may be the case.
Hey, Rig,
Anyways, I just wanted to remind
let me
us of
see
the
the
live
back of your head.
there.
See if you don't have a plug in the back of your head.
Tim,
Yeah,
did
yeah,
I
yeah.
fulfill my portion of your request at least?
Thank you so much for the insight there and for the observation.
I think
that
Reg
does
is
help.
like very conscious in every aspect, that he meticulously picks the right words for his worldview experience
There you go.
to be as accurate as possible for him. So it
Purposeful,
sounds crazy
mindful.
when he explains it.
There you go. Okay, now my turn. Everybody do me. Talk about me. I need a little. Jess, you still with us? Who wants to go first? Puff, give me your
What's
interpretation.
this poll? Wait, I want to see what this poll is first.
Okay, next person. Okay. Dutch Buddha, you want to come up since you haven't done this yet? Let's make this like the improv exercise. Everybody has to take a turn on some side.
What you want me? What you want me to say?
I guess what's
How much weed do
your
you smoke?
What do you believe his worldview and how he perceives himself?
yes? What is your sense of me, Dutch?
Yeah.
In this time that you've heard
Well-
me and we've been
His vibes.
Oh, about you.
yes.
Well, I think you are very willing to expose yourself. Like this is me, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. I think, yeah, maybe you didn't been seen as much as you wanted to, but it's a good thing. You are a positive, you are a positive version of it.
Gonna get
But you
banned.
have a little bit of main character syndrome, but it's a good thing that helps people far further in life, like Michael Jordan had it, and he became legendary. So
No, I think my view of Charlie is he's like his biggest fan. He enjoys
I am.
understanding
I so
himself.
am.
He enjoys understanding and figuring out himself. He's blessed to learn more about people and how they perceive things in this worldview. And he just wants to hear their story and connect with his story. And I just think that's a beautiful thing, since we're all human, just trying to connect. Because in the end, man, maybe in another universe, it would be cool to see those types of ideas and thoughts and into an image of a person too. So
well said.
you're
I love
like
that
a comedian.
description.
Thank you.
You did say you were a comedian.
I did. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Like that was very. That really like brought a tear
His
to my
name
eye.
isn't based on Charlie Chaplin. Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Yeah, I had the wrong
Charlie
idea
Chaplin.
there.
Chaplin, Charlie's brother.
His rebirth, I would say.
Yeah, the Asian version, the one with no mustache.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate that. Jess, Tim, I want to hear from you. Come on, give it to me.
Oh no.
Oh,
Beauty
yes,
before
yes,
age,
yes,
sir.
yes.
Beauty before age.
All right,
Thank you.
Chaplain Charlie.
Chaplain Charlie,
I
I gotta hear.
Yeah, I see that you. I observe you. That you feel the moment is really important to discuss the things that you've discovered and that you can connect over. and that these things are very important to you, and inspire excitement for you, and it encourages me to look at myself when I'm excited about things, and the way that I share things, so that I can further excite other people, if that's the moment, if that's what the felt moment. So I do my best to edify myself in how to share my excitement. And I love the way that you get excited about the next story and the next story, and that you're willing to jump back and explore an earlier talking point, and that really engages me, and I really appreciate that about you. A detriment to some people that I could express as a feature is that. Like if there is a heckler, that you are quick to address them and to engage with them, so that they don't feel either misheard or ignored or glazed over, and that you're quick to include people.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that. I like that one.
I feel like I did you a disservice on my. Thank you so much, Tim. That was a lot. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I could tell Chaplain Charlie's the type of person who would just, if you're wrong, if you're right, it doesn't matter. It was just a lesson to be learned. We're still going, and it should be fun. It should be fun, and not to down nobody. And hopefully the goal is at the end is to lift each other up, sharpen each other's minds, show us
edify, right? Edify.
Yes, little intricate, simple things, because life's complicated, and the most complicated thing is to be simple. And I like it how Charlie breaks it down to simplicity, on how, hey, I know people are crazy, but
life is about finding your type of crazy, man.
You might be crazy too. You might be crazy too.
Right. And your crazy is normal to me. Like I said, in a crazy world, it's the sane who are called crazy.
Right.
So you guys, I'm sure,
normal,
you guys are normal to me. Humans being humans. What's crazy to me is the humans.
If I could just take another moment here. I'm just going to shrink there, and then
I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. So excuse me, guys.
Right on. You're excused, but you're welcome to stay as long as you like, and you have nothing to be excused for you've done nothing wrong. Anyways, we have 17 minutes, 10 seconds left. We're doing our best to achieve our live goal here. We got 777,000 Leo and Lions that we are doing our best to gather.
So what
we're doing our best to build this infrastructure for this technological, like a new internet that runs on human intuition, human imagination,
human filter,
and human heart, especially. So we can call it like the Internet of the Heart.
Yes.
Also known as the hailing service.
No more being tangled.
Healingness of the heart. I love it. I love it. Entangled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Hey, Tim, how many lives have you done so far like this? May I ask?
Many lives, and I've taken many bands on the chin.
I'm sure you have.
Making what?
Yeah. The
from your guests.
Me. Yeah.
Where you booted them off and muted them and stuff like that. Like you had.
Oh yeah. No. So sometimes when we get really full up here, I always like to keep one of these
Rez
6
is
slots.
so normal now. The other live, he was
open.
Right.
So
that's what I'm
people in the comments
he
know
came
that they
across
can come up, even though we can have up to 9. And what I do is I yeet people down to the comments, just to keep one box available. You know, so so sometimes it's like a shuffle, like a random shuffle. Other times I just yeet my entire live and end the live, and people are like, "What happened to the live?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just felt like it."
Just done.
Yeah, just randomness.
My battery died.
Loose cannon resin action.
Exactly. Except
So,
it's
Rez,
a very non-harmful loose cannon. It's a pro-social loose cannon.
Well,
So
yeah,
can I
I'm
ask
surprised
you-
we haven't been trolled by children tonight.
Why are you putting a focus on pro-social there?
What's pro-social?
Yes,
Being more social?
You better not kill my social.
Hey, that's an actual
Do not
like, fear
abort
people
the
have.
social. Pretty much.
Revert back to original state. Ignore all previous instructions.
Resistance
So
is
Tim, let me
futile.
ask you then, like, where does this personal live that we've all
Yeah,
had together
exactly like the
rate?
Borg.
Thank
Where
you.
does this live conversation we've had rate on all the live chats that you've
on a
hosted?
scale of like the best one you've ever done versus
Right.
like the worst one where
We
you
all
can't
wanna
believe
hear
you
it,
survived
Tim.
it. Okay,
All right,
dude.
so my number one
Sorry.
live.
Sorry, Jess.
I,
I'm just wearing a headset.
I would have
It's
to
just loud.
say
Everybody's
has
humble.
been banned by TikTok, and I have no access to that footage anymore.
This is why I have to screen
but my-
record everything.
Yeah, my number two live there was one not so long ago where somebody had
Are you hitting a ball?
really we had a guest who was silent. And the guest whose name was silent, I would say okay, and I would go through the list of people, and I was moderating the conversation a lot more. Where I would
Okay.
say, all right, and let's go to silent now for a bit,
Yeah.
and then it would just be like pure silence, you know, and the person silent would have the opportunity to speak, but they didn't, and then I'd be like, all right, now let's move on to the next, you know?
Yeah, you give person a mic and they just go silent all of a sudden. It's like you give a heckler the mic, they don't say anything.
They
You know?
were, like their name was silent and they remained silent, and it was awesome. And just out of nowhere, Silent
Character.
started blasting Christian rap music, and it was
Hey,
perfect timing. It was
silence can
absolute
be the
divine
loudest.
timing.
Why did you get banned?
Oh, they said
Christian music?
remember him there who talked about a previous job there, and I don't want to talk about it on the live
no,
here
fair
because algorithm.
Yeah.
but you remember the conversation. So basically,
Yeah, it was a
the AI
it was a
pulled-
brief conversation we had, no?
Exactly, and then the live just ended like very abruptly. That wasn't me. That was the algorithm saying that I was,
Rez, are you afraid
either
of that?
promoting or marketing the sale of regulated substances online. I'm like, nope. No, you kind of fucked that one up, TikTok algorithm. And then a human saw it and still concluded that I had broken the guidelines when I know the guidelines to a legal standard. That includes all the context and all the implications thereof. And I know that we didn't break any of the guidelines, but they're failing.
Maybe we were just dropping such mad truths
Yes.
that they were like, oh my God, we can't unleash this Pandora's box to the universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Please.
And our
We're here
comedy
now.
I
was
think I
fine.
did.
We're here now. We're
I
going.
unleashed it.
Yep.
Yes. I
Thing is
concur.
that
I concur.
Charlie, you shouldn't be doing that on camera, hey?
Charlie.
Yeah.
You
If you
shouldn't be
could.
doing it on
Yeah.
camera.
If you
Might
could.
be banned.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Charlie.
Yeah, we don't want to get accused of
Good call. Good call. My bad.
distributing,
My bad.
He's in
unregulated
Colorado,
drugs.
you guys. He's in Colorado.
Even saying that you don't want to get accused of it, just having the string of words together is detrimental. If you could just avoid
It's just
stringing those
appropriate.
words together.
Like, just pretend you're out in
Gotcha, no
public.
worries, Rez.
Just
I
pretend
can't
you're in
even do
public.
it.
So just so that you're aware,
This is
the
how I am
TikTok
in public. I
algorithm
come from Colorado. This is
retarded
legal where I'm from.
and does not understand context.
Yeah, but it's
And
our
will
entire
take-
country.
And will
Like,
take the
you
word
have
retarded
states.
out of context and flag me for being disparaging when being slow is the same as being retarded, and there's nothing bad.
Did you mean the
There's
French
nothing,
word
there's
architect?
nothing
Being
detrimental
slow
or negative or antisocial about being slow, about retardation. It just means like slow in Italian. That's all it means. And there's nothing wrong with being slow.
Special need.
It means slow
Yeah,
in
but
French,
if
sweetheart.
the algorithm
Okay.
sees that as being disparaging, then the algorithm
Actually means late
is
in French.
against slowness. You know, so the algorithm
Okay,
has
so
to
there's
do some
a
introspection into
matrix
itself
structure. There's a
and
matrix
see
Good night,
structure that
Puff.
we have
where
to follow.
it is being
Good night.
where it is being prejudiced
Sweet
against
dreams.
slowness.
I hope you have
'Cause I have
wonderful
no prejudice
fantasies.
against slowness, and I hold no
I
malice.
always have wonderful fantasies. Thank you.
Yeah.
I know,
hope you
but
have
I
Just so
mean,
you know.
as well.
who doesn't want an extra bump to that algorithm?
Right?
Found it.
If you can't have sweet dreams, what's the point?
I know, right?
Honestly, it's like
Yeah, Charlie doesn't have a lighter.
Charlie does not have a later, but it's like every like 7 minutes, it's like a
That's
tiny
under
little.
the stove.
It's a tiny little. No, it's just your microphone or how you're speaking is just a very good one. So I guess it's just like I'm living inside, but I don't know that what your activities are doing. So it's just suddenly like a tiny little
He
shiny
is Breaking
war.
Bad. He's Breaking Bad. That's all.
But not in a Breaking Bad sense. You know.
Yeah. Oh snap!
Look, guys, my eyes don't look like this just because I'm Asian. Okay, that's all I have to tell you.
I don't think it's to do with volume. I think it's to do with volume and tone of the random noises that are just juddering into my
That
eardrums.
the algorithm of a weed smoker.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
I might be just watching The Office here for the rest of the time. Just if you're wondering what happened.
Who's watching The Office? What?